Okay, a new one for us this time. Still new ones this year.
Yeah, a lot of new ones.
This one,
different.
Yeah, this one was different. This one was out in Dekalb. It's called Amenti, and it's actually in the Egyptian Theater, a theater that was opened in 1929, a historic theater. And as the name might imply, it does have an Egyptian motif throughout parts of it. Since it was our first visit, what'd you think, Laura?
Actually, I mean, the theater itself was worth visiting. I mean, I thought it was really cool to be in in a theater that probably was showing some silent movies and everything. That goes way back, and the theme, the Egyptian theme, was cool. But the haunted house actually had a pretty cool theme too. I mean, for the beginning of it, for a good portion of it, it was Egyptian theme with like mummy rooms and that kind of thing, which I thought was really cool. Being in that theater. But I mean, I liked it. I liked it a lot. There were some good scenes. I mean, some part of. I mean, the patrons' flow, like to get inside, was a little. There were pretty long gaps in between, like when letting people in. But I'm guessing they did that because they're trying to, so people don't run into each other. Which sometimes that could be a problem in a haunt if if they let too many people in at once and you're all crowded up, and that's not good. But other than that, like I said, it took a while to get not that many people in. But other than that, once we got inside the haunt, very, very well done, very good. And there were a couple good parts there. They had this ice cream man. His name was Lester, and he was just like frozen there, like that. And next thing you know, then he comes alive, and he started following us and everything. And that was pretty fun. They had some good actors in there. So I enjoyed that, and they got Michael one time. I mean, I knew about it, and I kind of told the guy to go after him, and he did, which was pretty fun too. But I liked it a lot. I'd probably give that probably a 4. So I mean, it was a 4. I mean, there weren't quite as many actors as I thought there would be, but there were a lot of cool sets. So, but the actors that were in there were really, really good. So I give it a 4. 4 chainsaws.
All right. And Michael, what'd you think about Amenti?
I give this one 4 diapers. One of them filled with diarrhea from a genuine scare delivered from a demented clown named Lester. Well done sets with an Egyptian theme, good length, but there's a lot of steps in there, so you may have a problem if you're a jerk.
How many chainsaws?
4.
All right. Okay, good points about this one. The set design initially was really fantastic. The Egyptian theme was carried through the first few rooms in the haunt. There was an Egyptian tomb scene with some mummies, sarcophagi, netting hanging from the roof and things like that. And there was a really creepy guy. The very first room, he had a cool Egyptian mask on, which you just don't often see in haunts. And I thought that was really good. And there was actually a portion that looked like you were in part of a partially dug out tomb, which I thought was really good. Additional good points, they had some clever scares in there. Lester, the ice cream man, he was fantastic. We're walking down this dark corridor. All of a sudden, we hear a car horn, and a strobe light comes on, and here's Lester. And he's frozen there, as if he was not real. But of course, he was real. And he got us several times, and he followed us. He was very, very good. The only things I would say that are a little bit negative for me were that the Egyptian theme wasn't carried all the way through. Not that I was necessarily expecting it that way, but it just seems like it would be. It's sort of sold that way. And I was a little disappointed because I was enjoying the Egyptian theme. That's not to say any of the other rooms weren't as good.
I liked some of the other stuff.
Yeah, the other rooms were still good too. I'm just saying that the Egyptian theme, and the patron flow, as Laura mentioned, the patron flow, it did take an awfully long time. There were only maybe 15 people in front of us, and it took us a half an hour to get in. There was a lot of spacing out in between, and I'm sure they had their reasons for that. It just seemed like it took a long time to get through that. Overall, it was pretty decent. One thing I will say, though, is they do advertise this haunt, especially there were some monitor screens, and they were talking about intense scares and things like that. They advertise this haunt sort of as being really creepy and intense, and I wouldn't say that. In all honesty, I have to say I didn't find it intense. It had some interesting startle scares, some jump out at you scares and things, but I wouldn't put it at the level of a haunt that frightened you or terrifies you. So just be aware of that if you want to go. But it is nice to look at. It's a nice and enjoyable to look at. So overall, for a first-time visit, I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. And that's not a negative 3.5. That's a pretty good 3.5.